Howdy, folks. Welcome back to some more Song Stories of the Old West. And today we're going to go to Texas around 1830. It was then a part of Mexico, and a bunch of Americans, led by a fellow named Stephen F. Austin, started settling in the Mexican territory of Texas at the invitation of the Mexican government. Well, by 1830, there were more than 20,000 white Americans had been drawn to that fertile cotton-growing plains back over there in Texas, and they brought with them 2,000 slaves. And they soon outnumbered the Mexicans in the territory, and in 1834, Austin asked the authorities of Mexico City to allow Texas to separate from Mexico and become part of the United States. Now, part of this was because they was Americans and they wanted to be part of the U.S., but a bigger part was they were slave holders, and Mexico had outlawed slavery. Well, President Santa Anna said no, and the Texans decided to secede. They do that a lot down there. Santa Anna considered this treason, and he sent a force of 6,000 men to stop it. He took 3,000 of them fellas and marched on San Antonio, which was being held by a force of 187 men under the command of a fellow named William B. Travis. The Americans took a stand behind the wall of a mission called the Alamo. You knew that. That's right, yeah. And for 10 days in a now legendary stand, the small group fought off Santa Anna's Mexican troops, causing tremendous casualties on the Mexicans, but there was just too many of them. And pretty soon, they was all overrun, and everyone was killed except 5 survivors. And among the dead were Jim Bowie and his brother, a pair of slave smugglers, best known for Jim's big knife, and Davy Crockett, that professional backwoodsman. Actually, I said 5, but it was only 3 Americans that came out alive. A woman named Susanna Dickinson, her 15-month-old baby, and one of Travis's slaves named Joe. And they was freed by Santa Anna to warn Sam Houston, who was the commander of the Texas Army, the fate that was awaiting him if they continued. Well, Santa Anna pressed the small Texan army that remained under Houston until they met at San Jacinto in April 1836. And one morning, they was all in a camp, the Mexicans, and they had been granted a siesta by the self-assured Santa Anna, and the Texan army snuck up on them and shouted, "Remember the Alamo!" And they all came charging in and captured hundreds of the Mexican soldiers, including Santa Anna, and sent the rest of the Mexican army in a confused retreat across the Rio Grande. And I got a song about it coming up next.